Welcome to the world with Randall Williams. Today we jump into the world of sports because I just came from the Heisman Trophy ceremony thing. Can you see it? Can you see it? There it is. There's my name right there. Credentials. Just came from the Heisman Trophy ceremony. They don't allow you into the actual uh, facility of where they shot it. So whatever you saw on ESPN wasn't there. I was there for all of the interview stuff. I'll show you some footage here. Um, Really good time, decent food. All of the guys, I think they were a little bit tired from all the New York City lights, and I think being taken around from one spot to the next to the next. But good time. Travis Hunter is the winner of the 2024 Heisman Trophy winner. It is the 90th Heisman Trophy winner. So in 10 years, there will be an 100th. Um, but I think he deserves it. I think Travis, if I was a voting member, he would have had my vote because I don't know that we've seen a dynamic player like him do the things that he's done. We've seen guys like Champ Bailey, we've seen guys like Charles Woodson, but someone who's playing both sides of the ball and is as dominant as they are, it's incredible to watch. And the thing with Travis is, to me, is yes, he's an incredible receiver. I think that there's been a lot has been made about what he is a receiver, how he plays, X, Y, and Z. On the defensive side of the ball, what stands out to me is that quarterbacks generally just don't throw at him. Like they would try, and then he would just be out there for the rest of the game. And he's only been beaten on one touchdown. I think he's given up a couple catches here and there, but just the ways that I think college offensive coordinators respected him was remarkable. Because you don't really see that. I think that from time to time we have corners that come out of the draft, and yes, they might be the best corner of the draft. They might go top 10, some go top 5. But for Travis not to be targeted the way that he was, that was, and I think I watched every single one of Colorado's games. It was just crazy. And then to turn around and be on the offensive side of the ball and dominate the way that he did. I think he caught like 90 something passes. I might be gassing a little bit here, but he was dominant. He was dominant. He was dynamic. He was a really, really fun player to watch. And what I'll remember is he was the person that I think made people start turning their heads a little bit for Coach Prime. He's talked a little bit about, or he's talked a lot about how Coach Prime changed his life. And I think that Travis played an influential part in Coach Prime's career as well, because at Jackson State, I think during the pandemic, I believe they went 4-3 at Jackson State. And then the next year, 10, 11-1, I think it was, they lost the Celebration Bowl. And maybe it was 10-1 or 10-2, something like that. They had a really good year before they lost to South Carolina State. And the year, or in the months following that, Coach Prime gets Travis Hunter to flip from Florida State to Jackson State. And that is when people were like, wow, we knew Dion could recruit. It's Dion. He's a salesman. He's X, Y, and Z. He's the best ever. And he can, you know, sell water to a whale or whatever. Like all these different things. But that is when I think people were just shocked. And then it was like, okay, let me see what's happening here. And of course, Travis goes on to play maybe 6 or 7 games at Jackson State. He missed some time with an injury, but even then, he was very clearly a lot of times the best player on the field. And just sometimes when you watch a really good player, you're looking at somebody and their movement is just different. And that's the way that I would describe Travis Hunter, is that his movement is unlike anything I've really seen in terms of both defensively and offensively. His fluidity with his hips, the way that he changes direction on the defensive side of the ball, and then on the offensive side of the ball, he finds gaps in zone coverage. He beats man a lot. He's a great jump ball catcher. All of these things that just stand out when you're watching him. In person, I've seen Travis play twice. No, once. I've seen Travis play once. And then on the screen, like both of those times when you're watching it, it's remarkable. Um, and so then when you go to Colorado, like Well, let me track back a little bit. I think this is Travis's crowning achievement because of the fact of when he went to Jackson State, everyone was upset and saying like, "Oh, why would you go to a smaller school? Like, or why would you go to an HBCU that's not going to get that much exposure when you could go to Florida State? You're going to be playing against NFL players, yada yada yada, all these different things." And they said the exact same thing about Shador. I'll be getting into this specific topic a little bit later, recapping the Shador, Travis Hunter, and some of these other Colorado seniors era. But nobody thought that Travis and Shador could do the things that they were doing on the FBS level. They're like, oh yeah, they're doing it on the FCS level, but come do it up here. And of course, when they got to uh, Colorado and they upset TCU, and then they had that thrilling game against Colorado State, and then of course, um, Travis Hunter gets knocked out in that game. That sucked, because I think that Travis definitely could have impacted a lot of those games. And granted, the offensive line last year was not very good, gave up the most sacks in the nation. I think on the defensive side of the ball, he definitely could have helped. There were some games that Colorado was in like 100%, and they just didn't have. Um, I think Travis was a difference maker, and they didn't have him. Is what I'd say. Maybe they don't go 4-8, maybe they go 5-7, maybe they go 6-6. But he missed some time. And so uh I remember that. I remember, this season alone, just his level of joy playing as dominant as he was. Like rarely ever, I think football is a very intense sport, of course. And he gets to the end zone and he has a party there. It reminds me of when Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were at LSU, and they started the whole gritty thing that I think that um, we see so many different kids, so many players across different sports do now. So that's what Travis Hunter will uh, that's what I remember about Travis Hunter's time at Colorado. I think it'll be a long time before we see another player like this. We've seen defensive and offensive. There's a defensive and offensive lineman at Colorado now. He's playing both sides of the ball, but I'm not sure that we'll see someone do 100 snaps, 14 touchdown catches, 1,100 receiving yards, let's say 80 some odd catches, 4 picks, 15 pass breakups. Like these numbers are just insane. Because yes, I do think there are plenty of players who can play on both sides of the ball, but how many could be dominant on both sides of the ball? That is the issue. And then there's the conditioning part. And when I'm listening to professional athletes talk about this and say, like, I don't know how he does it, like guys who are either in the Hall of Fame or in the NFL, and they are even shocked. It's crazy. Will he do it at the next level? All of us will have to wait and see. But man, we have one game left with Colorado versus BYU, a game that probably should have happened at the Big 12 championship that, both teams fumbled their opportunity away. But congrats to Travis. I hope that, yesterday's, because I'm recording this on a Saturday night. This will post on Sunday. I hope that yesterday's celebrations were everything that they were supposed to be. Um, Watching the joy in your eyes, your heart, the ways that you were celebrating your family, man. I know this meant a lot to you. So this is the world with Randall Williams. Shorter video today, but I'll be back with more soon. Have a good one.